Greetings, Space Marines! FiOth here, and in this guide we will be breaking down the entirety of the Ops mode in Space Marine 2. That means skins, XP progression, weapon optimization, and the inevitable build crafting that we will get into once we have upgraded characters adequately, a process that will take a long time due to the requirements present. Without further ado, let's get to it. First and foremost, you picked a class that is to your liking. We have a total of 6 at the moment, each of them behaving totally different. You have your tactical, using an Auspex to increase everyone's damage. You have assault, standard in their face combatant, focusing on melee. Vanguard is a character that pretty much represents what Titus is in the campaign. He's a well-rounded character that can use a grapple to get into the enemy's face, using standard issue weaponry, and pretty much can stand his own. Bulwark is a defender with a shield. Sniper is a long-range combatant, and Heavy carries the heavy guns like the multi-melta and so on and so forth. What we want to understand first and foremost is that every single character needs to be leveled individually. They have their own abilities, like the Iron Halo that creates a shield around the heavy, and their own perk trees. Now, these perk trees are super extensive. What's good about them is that they're as simple as it gets. The only thing you need to do is to keep leveling the character, and then you will need credits that you can see up here to unlock whatever becomes available. Next level I will be getting Saving Grace. Reviving a squad member fully restores Iron Halo's charge, and I will have to pay a small amount of credits in order to upgrade it. Once it is upgraded, it will be in this node. As you keep leveling the character, nodes below these nodes, the following rows that is, will also become available, and you will be able to create a build for your character by picking the one that you want. Later doesn't mean better. For example, restoration here states killing 10 enemies in rapid succession restores 1 armor segment. Cooldown is 15 seconds, which is huge for a combatant that doesn't want to get into the fray. So this will be very hard to replace in this column, because the second one, multi-kill, killing 5 or more enemies in one shot from a multi-melta, restores armor by 1. This requires you to be much closer to use the multi-melta. And the last one, auxiliary ammunition. When your primary weapon is out of ammo, killing 10 enemies in rapid succession restores ammo reserves by 20%. Cooldown is 30 seconds. Out of all these 3, in case I want to make a by the numbers build, I will always go restoration. It is the one I will get the most value out of. Second, in case you're wondering how you can make your character look the way you want, you can go to armor. DLC armor sets are pre-made. You cannot touch them, you cannot change anything. They come as they are and they will stay this way. But for every other component that you unlock, you can go down here to custom, you click on it, hold your click, and everything you unlock will be going into these slots where you can enter, pick what you want, and equip it. Some of these come from just doing missions and leveling the character. Some will have to be purchased. The same goes for colors. Colors are tied to heraldry. You go in here and you have all the factions, and in each faction choices that you can go into and start purchasing. They unlock incrementally. You get the first one to be able to buy the second, to be able to find the third, and then the fourth. So you can't just pick the one piece that you want unless it's early enough for you to know that you're getting what you're looking for. Now that the cosmetics are out of the way, let's get into the meat and potatoes, and that is the weapon progression. Each weapon comes in 4 tiers. You start with the standard, then you go to master crafted, then you go to artificer, and then you go to relic. As you upgrade the weapon, it becomes more competent by unlocking perks. As you can see here, in order to unlock a perk, you have to first have unlocked the tier it is in, and then you'll have to use mastery points in order to upgrade one of the nodes in the perk tree after you open them up by using credits. So for example, this one I have mastered. As you can see, I needed to unlock master crafted by using a green token. I'm gonna talk about tokens in a bit. And then I had to unlock master crafted with credits, like I can unlock this upgrade. And then once I had accumulated 1800 XP, I used a mastery point that you acquire by leveling the weapon up one time in one tier, and then you place this mastery point in, and the upgrade is yours. The results of the upgrade can be seen here. If you hover over something, you see what the different versions will do for you. Next is the perk tree for the weapon itself. You go in a line from left to right as you unlock the quality of the weapon, and some become available no matter what you pick, and some are totally stationary and solo, and you cannot touch them unless you reset. Once you reset your perks, you can start again from the left, from the get-go, using those mastery points to keep going to the right direction. And of course, the weapon will be more competent the more you invest in a specific approach. Appearance up here on the right gives you all the possible skins. DLC gives you the DLC skins, so they are in a separate tab in case you're looking for them and can't find them. When it comes to the quality of the tokens that you will need in order to upgrade your gear, they come in three qualities: green, purple, and orange. You get them from playing matches, and according to the difficulty setting that you play, you will be getting a different token. So the first two difficulty settings, threat minimal and average, will net you greens, substantial will net you purples, and ruthless will net you orange ones. As you can see here, we can change this at any given moment, and if I go substantial, as you can see, the discoverable armory data is purple. Of course, this will increase your XP gains, but will also make the game substantially harder. The criteria for these difficulty settings are your levels per character. So for example, average is 5, the starting one is 1, of course, then you go to 10, then you go to 15. You keep leveling the character, they'll be able to hopefully tackle the higher difficulty settings if you prep them enough and slot in the correct perks. Issue here is that you have to level the character, you have to level the weapon, you have to level the perk of the weapon, you have to have the mastery points to unlock, and you have to have the tokens to progress the quality tier. So let's say we were using this configuration for the heavy bolter, and we maxed out the XP, and we didn't have a mastery point in order to finalize it and have it ready for usage. What happens in this case? Well, rule of thumb, in my humble opinion, is you unlock another configuration of the weapon if you want to use this weapon specifically, so at least you're getting XP and it doesn't go to waste until you have a mastery point to put into it in order to progress with what you want. There might be a case where you don't have any credits required in order to progress. The game pushes you to go into higher difficulty settings, but for starters, there is a way to get your hands on a few greens. This can be done by ways of trials. You go in solo, you just change the mode to ops, you go in, do these trials, they're not very difficult, you just need to score the highest possible score, that is an A. You have 3 results to go after: C, B, and A. A gives you pretty much everything, including a green token. You go, get the tokens, and make an initial investment on the character, so they will be good to go and they will not be completely useless as you try to level them. It should also be noted that not every class is using all weapon slots. For example, the assault does not use a primary firearm, they just use a pistol and their melee weapon of choice. The heavy does not use a melee because they smack enemies around with their heavy bolter or multi-melters and so on and so forth. So as you progress, if you want to progress a weapon that you are not actively using, make sure you're using it on a class that will carry it around, because everything you carry around will get base XP and configuration XP. Configuration meaning the one of these nodes that you're currently having as your active one. An example of what I was saying earlier, I don't want to spend the 1 green token on the standard issue auto bolt rifle. I don't think I will be using it a lot, so I left it as is, moved on to another weapon, and I will start leveling this weapon, and then I will invest the tokens in order to progress the weapon and use it because it's my personal preference. Last but not least, as a closing remark to all of you people, the XP required in order to progress all these classes and all these weapons and all these perks and all these mastery points and all these tokens is a huge time investment. So what I suggest you do a mission with each one of these classes, maybe level them 1 or 2 times, and then invest heavily in one class that is your personal preference until that class can hang to the highest difficulty setting. If you upgrade enough weapons carried by said class that can be shared by other classes, then these other classes can go in a little bit more prep to tackle what is to come when it comes to the more difficult scenarios, because if you prep a low-level character with weapons that are of higher quality, they will be able to hang on higher difficulty settings, gaining more XP and advancing faster. If you just go low level on every character, all of them will progress slowly, and you don't want that, because eventually you're gonna get bored, seeing very little return for your time investment, and the game will probably lose its charm. So this is it, Space Marines, my total breakdown of the operations mode. I hope you have great fun with it. Always play with friends if you can help it, because playing with randos might result in getting kicked and shit like that. We don't want that in our free time and our entertainment. Subscribe, like, hit the notification bell for more content like this, and until next time, be well, stay frosty, and always strive for perfection. Cheers!